It's not what happens to us, it's how we choose to think of and respond to it. And if we do it with a Torah mindset, if we recognize that every step of the way Hashem is with us, at every twist and turn, Hashem pre-planned every challenge we are going to face, has pre-fortified us with all the resources, all the koiches, all the insight, all the support, all the clarity that we're going to need to not just survive, but to transform the test, to transform the darkness into light. The most tumultuous period of your life is about to start, between 13 until America's shlichus, let's say, until around 20-ish. With Mashiach Tzidkenu, of course. What did the Rebbe teach us? I'm going to tell you something that no one is going to tell a Bar Mitzvah Bacher, and that is, don't change a thing. Over Shabbos we had a beautiful Achdus, family Achdus Farbringen in the Catskills to thank Hashem. We had a Shabbos Haidah. At this Shabbos Haidah, all our cousins, all the Einachach, all the siblings, we all sat together the Achdus, thanking Hashem, celebrating the great miracle that Hashem did for our family and frankly for the world. Rabbi Goldstein was not just a Tati and a Zaidi, but he was truly someone, he is and continues to be someone that is essential to the chinuch of tens of thousands of countless neshamas around the world, young and old. I have friends who tell me that they eavesdrop on the living Sedra when their children listen to it, and it helps them prepare their Chabad house Dvar Torah. The point here is that this Shabbos taught me, I was paying close attention because I was looking for Schayda for today's speech, and I saw that something that is the most important characteristic for a chassid was being embodied by Yisroel. And that's why I'm telling him, don't change a thing. What's the most important ingredient? And I'll try to finish with this. I say a good speech has a nice beginning, a nice ending, without too much space in between. So before I finish, what I observed Yisroelik, and I asked him permission if I could announce the various examples, and he was humble enough to say, please don't. But I'll tell you the message that I observed, the quality and the trait that Yisroelik exhibited, which according to the Rebbe's teachings is far more important than being a Baki B'Shas, is far more important than getting 100 on every test, is far more important than Lumdus and Go'inus. I observed example after example of Middos Tovos and example after example of Avodas Hashem. More important than how smart and how knowledgeable you are is having Middos Tovos, Yiras Shamayim, and Avodas Hashem. And I'll finish with a question asked to the Rebbe by someone who wasn't very nice in his intentions. He thought he's going to stump the Rebbe with his tricky question, and he threatened, at the end of his letter to the Rebbe, he threatened this Reform rabbi who had hostility to what he thought was the leader of the Orthodox world. He threatened the Rebbe and said, Rabbi, I will publish not just my question to you, but your answer or lack thereof. That means he thought it's a trap question, that whatever the Rebbe says or doesn't say, he got the Rebbe. What was the question he wrote to the Rebbe? He says to the Rebbe, who's a better Jew? A Jew that only does one mitzvah, he's a Reformed Jew that only does one mitzvah, he's a nice person who cares about others, Alas Yisroel. But 99%, all the other mitzvahs, the other 612, so to speak, he does the opposite. He couldn't care less about matzahs, Shabbos, kashrus, zman, anything to do with the Shulchan Aruch outside of Ahavas Yisrael. He is a rebel. He'll eat tray for food on Yom Kippur, but give the shirt off his back for another person. Who is a better Jew? The one who does 612 mitzvahs, so to speak, religiously, but he is when it comes to treating others, he's a para-adam. He is cruel, dishonest, and mean, or someone who is extremely kind, gracious, and magnanimous and selfless towards others, but absolutely violates all of halacha. Who's the better Jew? And the Rebbe was just newly in the position of the Rebbe. This is right after his Nasiya started. And if the Rebbe says, Avos Yisroel, what would all the people who have difficulty paying for matzahs, Yisroelik, or working so hard, they would be so happy. Wow, all I need to do is Avos Yisroel, be a nice guy, and I get better Yadid and better standing with Hashem, and Hashem loves. I'm a much better Jew than if I do all 100, 600, all the other mitzvahs. That was the trap. And on the other hand, if the Rebbe says you could be an achzer, you could be a disgusting, inconsiderate, cruel, and dishonest person in business, and not care about others, not have a heart, and you could be a good, and that God cares about more than being kind, how would that make from people look? That was his trap. The Rebbe answered as follows. The Rebbe says, the Rebbe addressed his premise. He says, to Hashem, there's no such a thing as a quantitative, successful Jew. It doesn't matter to Hashem whether you do 613 or one mitzvah to make you an excellent Jew. Hashem doesn't compare you to the Shulchan Aruch. He compares you to your own current habit of Torah and mitzvahs. And it is possible, therefore, that a Yid whose only mitzvah is Avos Yisroel, his only mitzvah is to do one mitzvah a day, and he pushes himself above his comfort zone and decides, I want to grow, I want to do avodah, I want to go a little bit above what's easy for me, l'shem shamayim. The Rebbe says that is the best possible Jew. Even though, if you look at the number, he's only doing 2 mitzvahs and others are learning 23 hours a day and doing every mitzvah with ultra orthodoxy. That they get the roundest and the most mahuladik matzahs, No, the Rebbe said, if the mitzvahs that you were doing yesterday, your habit, what's easy for you, you decided you're going to work a little bit harder towards the direction of improving yourself. You do avodah, that is the best possible Jew. So it's possible that a Jew that does 612 mitzvahs every single day, theoretically, but he relaxes, he's just resting on his laurels. It's possible for the one who does 1 mitzvah more today, even he's doing a total of 2 mitzvahs. The Rebbe says he is at a much higher level in the Eibishter's value system. The Hanim Shol. Similarly, someone asked the Rebbe, he says, Rebbe, I feel that I might become a chassid of yours, but it's too hard. And the Rebbe says, to be my chassid, all you need to do is get up today and try to be a little bit better than yesterday. What I witnessed on Shabbos with Yisroelik was the best possible nachas a tati can have. And I want everyone to learn from Yisroelik. I need to learn from Yisroelik because sometimes I forget this. I'm not going to give the specific examples because Yisroelik asked me not to, but he pushed himself above his comfort zone when it came to Avos Yisroel, when it came to Middos, when it came to the things that matter most. He didn't do what was easy, he didn't do what was comfortable, he pushed himself. That is the lesson we need to learn, and to finish off with one very important message that I want you to always remember. You are named Yisroel after 2 tzaddikim. The Rebbe's brother Yisroel Leib, and your Zaydi, Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov. Yisroelik, sitting today with his Bar Mitzvah, is the 10th generation of Rabbi Yisroel Baal Shem Tov. Your roots, Yisroelik, from all sides, are saturated with very important role models. Your uncle, the Rosh Yeshiva, your great uncle, Yechiel Collinson, sends his Mazzal Tov from Benoit. His twin in New Haven sends his Mazzal Tov, another Rosh Yeshiva. Rabbi Yisroel, the one who produced tens of thousands of pages of the Rebbe's Maimarim and Rishimas of the world, was here earlier and wished you Mazzal Tov. You are surrounded of Yosef, another uncle, Rabbi Yosef Omer, and I'm going to do something that I know Rabbi Siroda tries to be undercover in terms of his go'inus, but your Zaidi Siroda, is not only Baki in Lukutik Teda many times, and probably, I'm not sure, but I've never stumped him when I asked him a shayla in any of the Rebbe's Maimarim. So you are surrounded, and your uncle Moshe Siroda, someone told me this week. He says he's going to be replacing the next YY. I'm not sure what that means, but whatever it means, it sounded good. My point is, you're surrounded by beautiful role models. David, Middos Tavis, Arye, all around. Tam Chacham, every single uncle of yours is someone you can learn from. Your Mechanchim, your Mechanchis, the Eibishter handpicked the very best, and it shows. So, some of it is not your credit, but it's Mechayev you, Yisroel. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Compare yourself to your yesterday and be a little bit better. And I'm not telling you to change what you're doing. I'm saying continue exactly what you're doing. I admire you.